Hello, lovelies, and welcome back to the channel. So you are ready to embrace and enhance your feminine energy. Let's get right into it. So what is being feminine and what does feminine energy actually mean? The easy part of femininity is the appearance. It's easy to wear pretty dresses, have your hair nicely groomed, and always have your makeup done. The hard part is doing the inner work that actually radiates off of you. You could be the most stunning woman in the world, but if you haven't done any inner work to embrace your feminine nature, then no one will take you seriously. When you think of feminine energy, think of warmth, being approachable, and exuding softness. These qualities are really what takes you from being just a woman to a feminine woman. Feminine energy has the power to change your life drastically. Femininity can help you become a better mother, sister, friend. It helps you feel more connected to yourself, and it attracts masculine men into your life. Maybe you're a woman who constantly receives compliments like, "You're so caring, you're so positive, you're so kind." These kinds of women are in touch with their feminine nature. Whereas if you're someone who people tend to describe you as a bit cold, aggressive, or even rude, then that is a sign that your feminine is wounded. However, you lacking this trait doesn't make you any less of a woman, and if you're on this channel, then you're already one step ahead of others because you want to and you are ready to put in that work to change. Most people don't want to do the inner work. It's uncomfortable and hard, but ladies, at the end of the day, it's so worth it. So I am proud of you for being here. A lot of us have been taught that warmth and femininity is a weakness. Life is not perfect, and some of us have been thrust into a masculine survivor mode where we have had to shut our emotions off. Vulnerability. In order to be feminine, we have to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is what makes us human. It's what connects us. Being vulnerable is being open. So, for example, if someone hurts your feelings, rather than ignoring and just cutting them off straight away, you would tell them that, you really hurt my feelings when you did this. This goes both ways. So, listening to someone when they express that you have hurt their feelings instead of trying to defend yourself or just cutting off the conversation, that is also being vulnerable. You can start practicing vulnerability with smaller things and building up to bigger ones. So, for example, if you meet someone and maybe you want to be her friend, telling her, "Wow, I think you're a really cool person. I would love to get to know you better." Even something like acknowledging a mistake that you've made and apologizing or asking someone for help when you need it. These are all ways you can show your vulnerability. When you're vulnerable, you are open, and as a result, people will be drawn to you. They will respect this quality because you have taken on the emotional risk for someone else's sake. A lot of times we as women are taught that vulnerability is weakness. It's something that we have to apologize for. But this is not true. This is one of our greatest strengths and really what makes us such great nurturers, caretakers, and bonders. Now, this doesn't mean being a doormat and letting people walk all over you. Setting boundaries is also part of being vulnerable. So you should always decline if there is something you don't want to do. For example, if you have a friend who is constantly complaining about problems she's having with her boyfriend, you can set a boundary and say, "This is unacceptable to me. I am always giving you the same advice for the same problem, so I would appreciate it if you no longer ranted to me about your boyfriend problems." You are able to choose when and with whom you want to share your vulnerability with, and if you feel someone is exploiting it or taking advantage of your vulnerability, then you always reserve the right to pull back. Self-love. The next trait you need to develop is cultivating self-love. Take the time every day to honor and appreciate the beautiful being that you are. Embrace your uniqueness, recognizing that your individuality is a gift that sets you apart. Practice self-care rituals that prioritize your well-being and nourish your soul. These rituals can take various forms, tailored to your preferences and needs. So, for example, if you're someone who likes taking baths, taking walks, doing skincare, or pampering yourself, set aside some time for yourself daily or at least weekly to engage in those practices. One exercise that is really good for cultivating self-love is writing a love letter to yourself about all of the things you admire about yourself. A lot of times we're so hard and critical on ourselves, we forget to appreciate the characteristics we love about ourselves. Grab a journal or a piece of paper and pour your heart out. Write down all the qualities you admire in yourself, your accomplishments, and the challenges you've overcome. Express gratitude for your strengths and acknowledge your growth. You can say things like, "You love the determination you have," or "You love the kindness that you possess." Anything that really makes you feel proud to be you. You can even ask your close friends or family, "What redeeming qualities do you think I possess?" Start by reading this letter to yourself daily, and then once you notice you start giving yourself the grace and love you deserve, then just refer back to this letter anytime that you notice you are being overly critical of yourself. When you are unable to love yourself, you cannot give love or receive love from others properly. This is such an important part of embracing your feminine energy, embracing yourself first. When you start being warmer and kinder to yourself is when you can start exuding that softness and being warmer and kinder to others. Remember, cultivating self-love is an ongoing process that requires patience and compassion. Be kind to yourself and celebrate even the smallest achievements along the way. By prioritizing self-love, you open the door to embracing your divine feminine energy fully and authentically. Intuition. Women's intuition is a powerful gift. Intuition is known as a sixth sense, and it is the ability to perceive or understand things without relying on reasoning or logical evidence. This is something that all women have inside of them. It's a gut feeling, an inner voice, or an instinctive sense of knowing. So, for example, a lot of women have probably been in this situation. You had a boyfriend and you had this feeling that he was cheating on you. You never caught him in the act, but you just had this inner sense that something was off, and it turned out to be true. Or maybe you met someone and you just instinctively had about a bad feeling about them, which turned out to be right. That is your intuition. Intuition tells you when something is wrong or feels off, but it also tells you when something feels right. Our society values logical reasoning and evidence, not emotional reasoning, so many of us are disconnected from this gift. We're constantly berated with other people's opinions, and therefore it's easy to lose touch with this inner voice. Connecting with your intuition requires creating moments of stillness and receptivity. One of the best ways to regain touch with your intuition is through meditation. Find a peaceful and quiet space where you can sit comfortably. Close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, and allow your mind to settle. As you quiet the mental chatter, you create a space for your intuition to surface. Be patient and compassionate with yourself, as developing this practice may take time. Through regular meditation, you'll strengthen the bond with your intuition, making it easier to access in everyday life. You don't have to do anything crazy like 30 minutes a day. Just start with something as little as 2 minutes a day and work up from there. When you can avoid all other distractions, noises, and opinions is when you can really listen to your inner voice and get in touch with your woman's intuition. Sensuality. Sensuality is an essential part of femininity. It involves fully experiencing life's pleasures through our senses. It's connecting with our bodies, emotions, and the world around us in a deep and meaningful way. It's often confused with being sexual, but that's not entirely accurate. Think of Kylie Jenner. She is sexual. She always appears to have the desire to seduce, constantly uploading vulgar photos of herself and displaying a provocative image. On the other hand, women like Angelina Jolie or Monica Bellucci embody sensuality. Sensuality involves fully immersing ourselves in the world through our five senses, finding pleasure without it solely being sexual. It's about appreciating the small joys of life, like savoring a favorite meal, which delights our taste buds, or smelling the scent of a pleasant fragrance, bringing pleasure to our sense of smell. Sensuality is about experiencing pleasure, rather than seeking to give pleasure to someone else. To connect with your sensuality, you can engage in activities like dancing. When you dance, you develop a deep connection with your body, allowing emotions and desires to flow through your movements. Yoga is another excellent practice to enhance sensuality. In yoga, each pose is practiced while focusing on conscious and deliberate breathing. By doing so, we become more aware and connected to the grace and strength of our bodies. Yoga encourages us to be fully present in the moment, allowing us to appreciate the beauty and abilities of our bodies and fostering a deeper connection with our inner selves. In essence, sensuality is about experiencing life fully, embracing our senses, and finding pleasure and beauty in the world around us. It's not just about sexiness. Receptivity. The last quality we are going to cover in today's video is receptivity. Being receptive is one of the most fundamental aspects of being a feminine woman. This is the act of surrendering the need for control and allowing life to unfold organically. I have spoken about this in a previous video, which is linked up top. By resisting the need to control everything, we find a sense of peace and trust in the unfolding of our journey. We live in a society that values assertiveness and action, so a lot of us have never been taught to just sit back and let natural consequences take place. What I mean by this is, for example, Let's say you're in a relationship and you are a territorial girlfriend. You want to have his location at all times, the passwords to his social medias. You're very adamant and controlling because you're scared that he may be unfaithful to you. This is assertiveness and masculine because you're trying to control his whereabouts and actions, rather than letting a natural consequence take place, which is if he's unfaithful to you, he will lose you. You don't need to micromanage him all the time, thinking that this is going to prevent him from cheating on you. You just instinctively know that, okay, if he does this, then the natural consequence is that I will get up and walk away from him and this relationship. That is all for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to see more videos like this, please like, comment, and subscribe.